Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place of everything related to Amazon FBA and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring you a very close friend. Her name is Kayleigh Bendall, and she's the founder of Ecolati Global, where they specialize on everything that has to do with networking and connecting you with the best entrepreneurs and service providers in the Amazon space. And actually, not just that. I mean, they have a planned event for next year, which is in Camptown. Very excited about that, and we're also going to be touching around that event, what you can expect, and why that type of event is unique in the space. So I think it's a pleasure to have you here, Kaylee. So thank you very much for coming. How are you doing
Thank
today?
you, V. Thanks, Vincenzo. Appreciate it. Your time.
It's a pleasure. I mean, to be honest, we've been connecting so many times now. I mean, every single event where I go, you are there. So it's like we have seen so many times this year now. But that's great. I mean, that definitely shows the amazing work you're doing with your company, Colati Global, because it's all about partnership. It's all about networking with the right people in the space. And I
Definitely.
think you're doing amazing work there for sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And likewise, you, all your posts with the pictures every single time, summarizing each topic and
Yeah.
speak each person speaking, you always help like
Yeah.
spread that awareness. So it's great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I try to put as much value as possible out there. I feel like not all Amazon sellers sometimes can allow themselves to go to every single event. Some people have the day jobs and things like that. So I think try to put some kind of outcome out of these events in social media so they can learn from it is very important. Now let's get started with you, Kaylee. I mean, I know you are already very big in the Amazon space. You're definitely doing amazing work, but for sure there is a Kaylee before e-commerce and Amazon, and I want to learn a little bit about that. I mean, what brought you to the Amazon space and e-commerce in general? Tell me a little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I actually, funny enough, was playing in the ecom space. And I built like maybe 400 partnerships with ecom sellers in Australia. And then at a networking event, I came across this event called Retail Global,
Mm-hmm.
which was in the Gold Coast. And I was actually offered a job to go and work with them, building their sponsorships. And I couldn't accept at the time, but that was one of the first Amazon events that I went to, which was probably about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And then the beautiful lockdown happened,
Yeah.
and it forced everyone to kind of just stop and like sort of reflect. And rather than like, I guess, I think at the time I was out of work, and rather than like sitting there worrying and trying to apply for jobs, which I know is always is just something that is like hit and miss.
I
A lot of
know.
people say that I'm a bit of a misfit, like Danny McMillan always says that.
Yeah.
So rather than doing that, I actually had all these amazing connections that I'd met over 4 years living in Sydney and attending all these events, and a lot of them were like had moved on to Europe, and a lot of them were in the US, and I just actually sat and went through all my contacts and started like reaching out to them, and that was where uh, I'd met Tim Jordan at one of these conferences, and we jumped on a call. And he said, actually, one of the people I'm consulting for Sellers Funding, they need someone like you, and that
Mm.
was like the first sort of beta
Eye
client
opening,
where
basically. Yeah.
where I could test out a partnership as a service model, representing people at events, building that pipeline and trust with the seller
Mm-hmm.
ecom community, and then also just like I guess understanding who is best in class across each
I
category in the
love that.
partnership space. Yeah, and it's like what you'll see is an enterprise client, an enterprise version, a medium version, and a small version of each of these categories. Like
Mm.
Avalara is like bigger than we can touch, but then
Yeah.
you've got Avast, which is like
Yeah.
still huge but not as enterprise. So it's really exciting to have built out like this beautiful
Yeah.
landscape of people that all just want to grow their business. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's awesome. I like the fact that you mentioned the best service provides in each different section, because I feel sometimes we struggle to, especially Amazon sellers when they're getting started, there is so much noise out there, and it's
Yeah,
difficult, to sometimes find the right people for your business. And I think you're basically saving them time and money by making sure that you tell them, okay, you are getting started, these are the right partners for you. You are eight-figure seller, these are the right partners for you. And then basically you build that structure for them, that is basically a way for them to start working with better people from day one. You see what I mean? So I think it's very useful.
definitely. No,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's, yeah, there's so many people as well. Like one of my most recent clients, We Prep FBA, I attended an event with them and they're like, someone was saying, what's Kayleigh doing for you? And they're like, she's basically a walking Google review for us.
Yeah.
And you obviously met the guys. And I
Yeah.
was talking to a friend in the industry and I gave them a quick 20-second elevator pitch on what these guys are doing. Ex sellers, they've still got a third brand. They've built seven figures for each, and it's like they then started this prep business.
Mm,
And I was explaining this, and the guy was like, "No way, you can't even tell that. Like, it's so great that you are here to do that." Because I would look at them and think they've got this tiny operation, but they've actually got four warehouses,
I
nearly
know.
1,000 clients, and it's like, well, if we can't like get them working with people, even like yourself, where we can
I know.
share opportunities, make that brand awareness, like things just get lost, and it is crazy. So it's really
Yeah, I know.
exciting.
Yeah, to be honest, thanks to you, I met them at the event, AmaFest, and now we kind of work together. I mean, that's definitely a game changer for some people, because sometimes, and we were discussing this in the other event, is like people go to events, but because there are so many things to do in terms of watching the presentations, or maybe you connect with old friends, sometimes you forget to actually explore new opportunities in the event, and that's when Kayleigh come in and makes the magic and connect you with the verse, right?
Yeah, this is it. And it's great because it is tangible. So, you can like track the ROI. And I think that's the most important thing with partnerships is like often there's that people say, that partnerships, they take too long to see the results,
Yeah.
whereas like I think if you've got like an approach where it's tied into an event, like it's much more powerful to actually bridge those connections. And often,
Mhm.
the first time you meet someone, it's like, hey, you're right, how are you doing? And then it's only like the second and then the third time that people are like, oh wow, I remember you, like, wow, you actually remember my name.
Yeah,
And therefore you've then got that like sort of relationship, and it's not just partnerships, it's with the seller community as well, which is super important. Hence, even before the event where I saw you, we ran like a little meetup the day
yeah,
before, and you just meet people you wouldn't otherwise meet, because sometimes the event is very big and there's a lot of stuff going on and you
I know.
can't talk to everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
That's great. That's great. So now let's talk about the future of Ecolatic Lore. I mean, right now you are definitely growing very fast in terms of creating this kind of directory of better sellers. So basically, where you see this coming, you want to make sure you keep connecting and creating these partnerships, or you basically also want to transform this into creating these kind of meetups and events. So where you see this going forward in terms of keep adding value to the Amazon
yeah,
community. Yeah.
yeah. I think one, it's the partnership, so it's like having the clients that I work with and working on like a target each month
Mm-hmm.
to kind of bring in X amount of revenue, to which would then cover the cost of like say a retainer of me helping them with not just partnerships, but what events should you attend, what sort of
Mm-hmm.
partnership activities should we be doing, um, who can we connect with now, who are you working with currently, but you can expand that. So there's a lot of like opportunities, not just with partnerships like say with the typical people, but the aggregator side as well.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like the event thing, more and more people have come up to me and they've said, Kayleigh, we would love to do events, but we
Yeah.
don't have the capacity. So a lot of people have just said, would you offer this as a service? And I think when I was living in Australia for 4 years, I actually volunteered um, running events for an association
Okay.
they were specializing in data driven marketing.
Okay.
And so I had like I was in charge of the whole of Australia each state, and we had like 8 volunteers in each state, and we'd run these
I see.
events.
I
And
see.
so I'm kind of using this like natural passion, because I
Love it.
know events are so important, and they're so kind of for the person attending, like the seller or the e-com person who owns the store, and then also for the actual person trying to promote their business. It's just a natural opportunity. So I think next year there'll be more in that space, and then just like the meetups, the socials. I think there's a big opportunity. So I have got like a meetup group which has about 230 people now. I've
Wow,
got my own seller community which has over 100 sellers that I've personally met myself,
that's awesome.
just by traveling, that I
Yeah.
have an active relationship with. And yeah, just working with people that kind of come to me
Yeah.
now, which is, I think, the best
Yeah.
way, because I
Yeah.
don't need to look for clients as such
Yeah,
anymore.
and
Yeah.
that's also very good for you because you start building that reputation that when somebody needs to, find a better either partnerships with other people in the space, they know you can definitely connect them and without
Yeah.
any strings attached. You see what I mean? Which is
Yeah.
awesome. So,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, so I think the other thing I would like to start touching, which is actually you started mentioning, is the event next year. I mean, that's definitely something and a great initiative, and I'm 100% sure that one of the reasons why you decide to do this event is to keep creating that basically arena where people can keep networking together and exchange knowledge and make sure you have definitely have the best people in the space under the same roof. So let's talk about that event. I know it's happening next year in Camptown between the 13th and 17th of February. But tell me more about what is the event about, what people is gonna be doing, what kind of
Yeah.
partying are you doing, all of that.
So yeah, of course. So the aim is to kind of make it a little bit like intimate, invite only, where like sort of anyone that I have met or anyone that I know can bring a friend or whatever, because there's only sort of like a limited amount of I think the room can hold max 50 people. So we have like some volunteers, and we have like about 10 speakers. So that really only leaves like, 35 tickets. So
Mm,
the idea being, we want to bring the smartest sellers, or ecom kind of entrepreneurs, because right now, like in February next year, Amazon will launch in South Africa.
mm-hmm.
um, I was born in South Africa, so I have a very strong like connection to how
I
beautiful
see.
it is.
Yeah.
Cape Town's known for its beaches, wine farms, amazing food, and then of course, the waterfront. You've got this
Mm,
view of the Table Mountain. Hence, I thought it might be cool to let everyone have a bit of a taste, with 2 days of networking activities,
yeah.
inclusive of the ticket, where they can actually network. But then for the actual masterclasses, which will be 2 days, it's kind of like each speaker is a seller who at one point they've had a seven-figure business,
Yeah.
but has transitioned into now service, or they are actual seven-figure plus entrepreneurs selling online, who can actually share like tangible stuff and all have a unique area that they're going to talk about. So it's like super tangible, super intimate, and hopefully it will just leave people super like motivated for the new year, because obviously Q4 is coming. It's going to be mental. Lots of people made
Mm,
50% of their revenue
I know.
in this quarter. And so, as a great reward, getting out of the winter in Europe, like
Yeah, I know.
in the
Escape
UK,
from here.
yeah, escape to this, to come and join the mastermind. And I think, you know, because Amazon's launching in SA, we may even see some local entrepreneurs join, where for example, right now, if you are trying to get like an order through the post, it takes 6 to 7 days.
Wow.
So there's a big like uproar, like in any high street
Yeah.
where you've got your local businesses. They don't want Amazon, but they need Amazon.
I know. I
So
know.
so it should be pretty cool, and hopefully we'll have a full room, or at least like, you know,
Yeah, I love it.
30 cool people there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a look at the website and all the things that are planned, and definitely love the speakers that you already have lined up. I mean, I know most of them sound they're very good, so definitely people is
Yeah.
gonna have so much knowledge to get out of them. And now let's actually also talk about how I mean, because I know this is a very kind of a reserve event that you're definitely looking for the best in the space, but when it comes to the Amazon sellers, to all of them that are listening right now or watching the episode, who would you say right now this is the type of event for what type of seller? Because I bet like most events, sometimes events are for seven-figure sellers or sellers that just getting started. What kind of audience are you targeting right now with this kind of event? Yeah.
Yeah, so this one in particular is for like the sophisticated seller that has or is building a brand that is at 7 figures in revenue. So yesterday, sorry, the day before, we had a 8 figure seller sign up who's doing like pet products, who
Awesome.
also is transitioning into e-com as well. So, you know, it's not just Amazon, it's e-com, it's anyone who is hungry to kind of like look and think outside of the box. For example, we have Ali Gray, who's never actually spoken before. He's
Mm-hmm.
got a brand called Vont, which is
Mm.
currently at 30 million in revenue. And
Yeah.
so he's going to be sharing like stuff that he's never sort of done before. It's actually the first time. So it's like, it's super cool to actually test and see whether people
Yeah.
would find um, it valuable to hear from people actually walking the walk and
People
talking the
actually in
talk.
in the war fighting the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people building those teams, putting out all those fires, like I think it should be quite cool because I haven't seen too many at a lot of the events. Like, I mean, when I ask people what is the best thing about the event, like what was the like top thing
Yeah.
for you, they all say one, it was the networking, and the people that I met, and then two, like, you know, when I saw like someone on the stage that is actually you know, doing the things I'm
Yeah,
doing
doing what
rather.
they say. Yeah, yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I also would like to start concluding with is that so the actual event, I mean, as you already mentioned, it's not only about learning. I mean, there's definitely going to be some activities around that. So how you thinking to structure that? Is that going to be an activity per day combined with events, or you have some days that just knowledge and some days just fun? So
Yeah.
why you have in
Yeah.
mind? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there will be a few people probably who are a bit lagging because I think there's a slight crossover with some other events. So
Mm-hmm.
it may be that some people arrive on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
So the kind of the Monday, the 13th from
Yeah.
memory, that will be like a full day of networking, but also like an opportunity for people to wind down from any jet lag because it's quite a
Yeah.
far trip for most people.
I
So
know.
what
Yeah.
we've got planned is like to do a sightseeing bus, and then like just do the Table Mountain. There's an opportunity where you can hike it, which takes about 4 hours,
Go.
or there's a cable car, and that's part of like the ticket. And
Mm-hmm.
then we've got like 2 days of masterminds. So every day there's like lunch included, and then in
Mm-hmm.
the evenings there's 2 dinners arranged. So everyone can get a real taste of the
Yeah.
fantastic South African food, like it's
Wow.
next level. And
Love
then
it.
the final day is like basically more activities. One of them is the wine tram, where you
Okay.
actually go on this tram and like hit all the wineries. So I
Wow.
thought that might be a really exciting way to show everyone the beautiful wineries and also, you know, network. And then a closing party will probably be in on the waterfront where we
Wow.
have sort of, you know, anyone who like Ali Gray, he loves to
Yeah.
DJ, so he's gonna probably do something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna be a blast this event. I mean, yeah, congrats on what you're doing. So, I
Thank
think
you.
to start concluding, it would be awesome if you can also mention to our audience like where people can find information about the event in terms of purchasing the tickets, up to which day they can buy the tickets, some basic information around that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So at ecreativeglobal.com, there's an events page,
Mm-hmm.
and the tickets are on there available right now. Early bird is $800. We've purposely kept it really affordable because it is our first ever event. And then yeah, the prices will go up at the end of November. So I can certainly give you some links to pop on with this post, which
Sure.
people can then
I will make sure to
read.
put it down in the description. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. So, and
Awesome, D.
yeah, if you want, also you can tell us where people can find you on LinkedIn and social media. Maybe if they want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So my LinkedIn is Kayleigh Bendall,
Mm-hmm.
and on there you can find my page Ecolative Global, and then yeah, my social media Instagram Kayleigh Bendall, Facebook is Kayleigh Bendall. I've got an extra K in there
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Awesome.
I'm always available, and like I've got WhatsApp as well, which I'm always on messaging
Good.
everyone. So like 24 hours.
That's great. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you very much, Kelly. So looking
Thank
forward
you,
to meet you
Vincent.
again at some of these events, and let's keep in touch, okay?
Okay, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.